Today's going to be a special introduction by Sarah, who's going to give us a word on Women's Day because last week we talked about conflict given today's world news. We were talking about uncertainty, war, and how to prepare at least the best we can. We had an interesting conversation last week. This week we will touch on a little bit on Women's Day because it was on the 8th on Sunday. And Sarah has a few words that she would like to share with us.
Like Safa said, and thank you very much, Safa, for letting me come and talk a little bit to you all about International Women's Day. But before I begin, I'd like to play a game. I'm going to mention a few everyday inventions, and I'd like you to guess if these inventions were made by a man or by a woman. So if you can, just in the chat, put one or for a woman and two for a man. Okay, so who invented the Wi-Fi technology that makes modern wireless communication possible? One, a woman, or two, a man? Who do you think invented the dishwasher? Again, one or two? Who invented the windshield wiper? And what about the board game Monopoly? And last but not least, who founded the oldest university in the world? Okay, so if you answered one for all of them, congratulations, you won. So the Wi-Fi was invented by Hedy Lamarr, an Austrian actress and inventor during World War II, while working on secure communication systems. The dishwasher was invented by Josephine Cochrane in 1886. She was frustrated that her fine china kept breaking when servants washed it, so she designed a machine to solve that problem. For the windshield, it was Mary Anderson in 1903. She noticed streetcar drivers struggling to see through the snow in New York and designed the first manual windshield wiper. Now, the most interesting one, I think, is the Monopoly game. Elizabeth Maggie created a game called the Landlord's Game, and her goal was educational. She wanted to demonstrate how land monopolies concentrate wealth and create inequality. The game spread informally among communities and universities, evolving as people modified the rules. And in the 1930s, a man named Charles Darrow learned a version of the game, modified it, and sold it to Parker Brothers. For decades, he was credited as the sole inventor of Monopoly. Only later did historians uncover that the game was based on Maggie's earlier invention. As for the first university in the world, it was founded in 1859 by Fatima Al-Firi, and it's the Al-Qarawiyyin, which is considered the most ancient university in the world, still operating, preceding the first European university, and it's in Africa. Thanks for being good sports and for playing along. Now, moving on. History is full of stories like the ones we just saw. Women inventing, discovering, building, and sometimes disappearing from the official record. And that is part of the reason International Women's Day exists. Every year on March 8th, we celebrate the achievements of women around the world. Leaders, entrepreneurs, scientists, artists, and the millions of women whose work quietly sustains families, communities, and economies every single day. But International Women's Day is not only a celebration. It is also a reminder. Because the freedoms many of us experience today did not appear naturally or automatically. They were fought for. International Women's Day began more than a century ago. In 1910, a German activist named Clara Zetkin proposed the idea of an international day dedicated to women's rights. The following year, more than 1 million people across Europe gathered to demand something that was considered radical at the time: the right for women to vote, the right for them to work, and to participate in public life. For generations, women had to fight for things that today feel obvious: the right to education, the right to hold property, and the right to make decisions about their own lives. Many women fought incredibly hard simply for a seat at tables where they had long been excluded from. Today, many of us benefit from that courage. But the story is not finished. In many parts of the world today, girls still struggle to access education. Millions of women cannot open bank accounts without permission. In some places, women cannot travel freely, and in others, they cannot choose who they marry. So while International Women's Day may feel symbolic in some parts of the world, and I recognize that I speak from a place of privilege, because for many women around the world, this day represents something much deeper. It represents hope, hope that their daughters might have more opportunities than they did, that their voices might one day be heard, that the rights many of us consider normal may one day become normal everywhere. And this is where the conversation becomes personal. Because when we talk about women's rights, we're not talking about abstract ideas. We're talking about the women in our lives, the mothers who raised us, the sisters who grow up beside us, the partners who walk through life with us, the daughters who will inherit the world we leave behind. Every person in this room was likely raised by a woman. Every one of us works with women, lives with women, cares about women whose opportunities shape the direction of their lives. So International Women's Day is not only about celebrating women. It is about recognizing how deeply the lives of women shape the future of all of us. Families, communities, societies, and perhaps the real meaning of this day is not only celebration, it is awareness. Awareness of the women who came before us and fought for opportunities many of us now enjoy. Awareness of the women who are still fighting for those same rights today. And awareness that progress is something that must be protected and continued. Because the freedoms we celebrate today were not inevitable, they were earned. And for millions of women around the world, the journey toward equality is still unfolding. So perhaps the true power of International Women's Day is not only that we celebrate women, it is that we remember them. The women who refused to accept the limits placed on them. The women who raised their voices even when it was dangerous to do so. The women who insist that the future can be different. And because of them, the world is different. But perhaps the most important question for us today is this: what will the women who come after us say about our generation? Will they say that we protected the progress that was made? That we continued the work? That we built a world where opportunity and dignity were not privileges, but expectations? Because the story of equality is not finished, and the next chapter is being written now by all of us. Thank you.